How to optimize your retirement portfolio. That's what we're going to talk about here. We're going to finish this up for part 3 of our series on how to optimize your retirement portfolio. And so we're going to go back to our Blanchett and Fink article, and this will be a relatively quick one. And then we're going to go down the whiteboard, and we're going to take it to the next level. So don't forget to subscribe. Certainly stay tuned for the other videos in this playlist, and comments and thumbs up are always welcome. So let's dive right into this. All right, so optimal equity allocation by withdrawal rate and wealth and guaranteed income. All right, so the optimal equity allocation, equities or stocks, just remember that tends to increase at higher levels of guaranteed income, and in some cases dramatically. For an example, an investor with moderate income and bequest preferences using a 4% withdrawal rate, the optimal equity allocation with 5% of wealth and guaranteed income is 30%. All right, so we got an investor with I'll show it here in just a second. While the optimal equity allocation with 75% of wealth and guaranteed income is 95%. So again, you got 5% of your wealth and guaranteed income. You're going to want 30% of your remaining wealth in stocks. If you got 75% of your wealth in guaranteed income, you're going to want 95% of your remaining wealth in stocks. And I'll show you the table here in just a second. Those who dislike income volatility or have a high preference for stable income, mainly because they see the most modest increases in equity allocation by guaranteed income, mainly because they strongly dislike income volatility. So again, the more you want stable income, the less you're going to change from your stock bond allocation. However, when these same investors have a high enough percentage of annuitized income, they are willing to accept significant investment risk if they have a higher bequest preference. All this means is the more you're guaranteed your income, the more you can consider, and you should actually take more risk for the remaining of the portfolio that you have. So I'll show you real quickly the tables that they did. Optimal equity allocation by withdrawal rates and wealth and guaranteed income. So the base they're saying, look, here's the guy we just talked about. 4% of their portfolio they're going to pull from each and every year, the 4% rule. They're going to annuitize 5% of their wealth. So they got $500,000 in their portfolio. They're going to annuitize 5% or $25,000 of that. The remaining portfolio should be 30% stocks and 70% bonds. If they're a moderate income preference in terms of they're willing to take some risk, but not a lot, and a moderate bequest preference where they want to leave something, but they don't want to go crazy and leave everything they got. Now, if they annuitize 75% of that $500,000, so before they only put $25,000 into an income annuity, now they're going to put $375,000. Well, in this case, it should go up to 95% of that remaining $125,000 should be in stocks. And we'll go on the whiteboard here in just a second and show you what we mean by that, because I think it'll be easier to see when I draw it out for you. But it's pretty interesting nonetheless. So again, we're using your preference for income, your preference for stable income, all that. These results should suggest that when a client shifts a portfolio from investment assets into guaranteed income, the remainder of their portfolio should optimally contain a significantly higher allocation to stocks. And again, we'll draw that on the board here in just a second. Let's keep going down here. All right, so we'll keep going down. All right, conclusion. Investors who are considering a partial annuitization strategy in which a portion of the retirement assets are allocated to an income annuity have received little guidance on how they should optimally invest the remainder of the portfolio. Using actual annuity price quotes and current bond returns, we estimate optimal equity allocations at varying levels of annuitized income among retirees with differing levels of stable income preference or risk tolerance and variations, if you will. Our results confirm the intuition that when the retiree buys an income annuity, they should optimally take more investment risk with the remainder of their portfolio. Ironically, even risk-averse retirees should hold a significant allocation to equities if they have a percentage of total wealth in guaranteed income assets. Investors considering the purchase of an income annuity should optimally draw from bond assets to maintain an appropriate equity allocation. Although the optimal percentage depends on a number of factors, including bequest and stable income preference, we find that a good rule of thumb is annuities should be purchased with about 80% of assets from bond investments and 20% from stocks. Oh, man, such a good portfolio or article. All right, so the net result here, the end game. That means if you have $500,000 in a portfolio, $200,000, $1 million, it doesn't matter, and you take a percentage of that portfolio and annuitize it, you're going to have something remaining. All right, that something remaining is your balance sheet. And so if you're $500,000 as your balance sheet and you're a 50-50 stock to bond investor, that means $250,000 in bonds, $250,000 in stocks. Well, if you take $100,000 of that 500 and annuitize it, now, according to the model that says you're a 50-50 investor, you have $400,000 left in your asset, your balance sheet. That means $200,000 should be in bonds, $200,000 should be in stocks. But that's wrong because you're not including what is over here in your guaranteed income, which should come from the bond asset. And so if Finke and Blanchette are saying that $400,000 remaining should be more towards equities because you have to include this even if it's not on the balance sheet. Now, again, I'm going to go draw this on the whiteboard here in just a second. So stay tuned for part 4. Don't forget to subscribe, and comments, thumbs up are always welcome. And we'll see you next time to go to part 4 on this, on how to optimize your retirement portfolio. Thanks, guys.